So now that we've gone through the entire rainbow, another way that we can do this is if you are not a super visual person. I'm a super visual person. I love looking at things and art and experiencing things visually. If you're not that kind of person, pick another sense. So one of the other things that we can do is go through our 5 senses. So let's start by finding 5 things that we can see. And that should be fairly easy if you have the ability to see things. If you don't, we'll move on to the next portion of this really quickly here. So take a look. What are 5 things that you can see? And these might be 5 of the same object. They might be 5 different objects. And you can just kind of say them to yourself. So I see a light switch. I see my bed. I see my water bottle. I see a book. And I see a stuffed animal. So those are 5 things that I can see. And then we're going to move on to 4 things that you can feel and touch. So an example might be, I can feel the cushion on this chair. I can feel my hair on my head. And you don't have to feel this with your fingers or your hands. You can feel other things. So I can feel that I have a blanket stuffed behind me on this chair, and I didn't even need to use my hands for that. I can feel it on my back. And one more. What else can I feel? I can feel the metal on my sweatpants. I think this is called an aglet. The end of the little string. I can feel that metal. So then, now that we have 4 things that we can feel, we'll move on to 3 things. What is it? We're gonna do 3 things that we can hear. And I know it sounds silly, but sometimes I can't hear when I can see things. I can't hear and see at the same time sometimes. So if it helps to close your eyes, feel free to do so. And I'm going to go quiet here for a minute, and we're just going to find 3 things that we can hear. And if you're in a really quiet space, that can take some effort. But you can even notice things like I can hear my own breath. Or maybe you can hear your own ears ringing. That's okay too. All of that counts. And then the last 2 things that we're going to do are, I would say, like quite a bit more tricky. So 2 things that you can smell. And I personally don't have a great sense of smell. So if you need to use other things like essential oils or just whatever you have on hand, it really doesn't matter, to get those sensory input, that's totally fine. So like, for example, I happen to have a bottle of vitamins. This is one thing that I can smell. What does that smell like? And maybe you can notice different smells within the same thing. So if you have something that smells kind of strongly like this, like I can smell something kind of fruity, but I can also smell the kind of like intense, more like orangey notes of it. And once you found 2 things that you can smell, and you could also choose 2 entirely different things if you wanted to smell 2 essential oils or something cooking and something that you have. And then we're going to move on to 1 thing that you can taste. And you don't necessarily have to taste anything by putting it in your mouth if you don't have access to that, but a lot of people like to carry gum, they like to carry, a snack, And if you already naturally need that in your body, and once you start calming down, you realize, oh my gosh, I am really hungry. Now that I've smelled the things, and you can eat those snacks. If you don't have anything, you can also just notice, what does your mouth feel like and taste like right now? Another really good one is water. And we can go kind of beyond taste. We can go with temperature, like what temperature is the water? Is it warm? Is it cool? What does it feel like in your mouth? You know how different water has different tastes? Does it taste like your water from home? Does it taste like bottled water? Like, what does that taste like?